Hi, it's Super Videos back at you for another video. This is gonna be the review and discussion for issue 159 of The Walking Dead comic book, part 3 of 6 of The Whisper War. And obviously, if you haven't read the issue, I would recommend you not watching this because I'm gonna be talking about the issue and discussing it. So let's get right into this. Going into this issue, there was this hype that we're gonna see a Beta and Negan showdown, and we got exactly that because in the first 2 pages, it's basically Negan versus Beta, and they're just fighting it to the death. And we see Dwight is attacked by a walker, and he's trying to hold the walker back, but he throws Lucille, yes, that's right, he throws Lucille to Negan. And I love this one panel where Negan's holding Lucille, and it's reminiscent the cover for issue 100, or the alternate cover of issue 100, when Negan's just holding Lucille in front of his face. And Negan basically says, "Welcome home, baby." I love that specific panel. It's actually interesting how Dwight actually gives Lucille to Negan. At this point, he has no choice. And then he throws Lucille to him and says, "Catch." And then obviously Negan grabs it and tries to beat Beta down. And then Beta obviously fights back. I love what Negan says. He says, "You're no fucking fun at all." Pretty cool, and it's typical of Negan, something he would say, definitely. And then we see him kind of say a few interesting things. Obviously, it's Negan. He's pretty much saying what he usually would say. We see Dwight obviously fight the walker, and then Michonne, Jesus, everybody's just trying to hold them back. Meanwhile, obviously, Beta and Negan are still fighting. Negan beats Beta down, but as he is about to kill him, Beta basically, I think he, with his knife or something, he does something. It's not clear what Beta does, but he breaks Lucille. And it's basically the end of Lucille. And Negan is very upset. He says, "What did you do? You just broke Lucille." And he's just losing his mind a bit. But it just goes to show how much Negan cares for Lucille. Even though it's a bat, now that we know the backstory, we kind of understand. And it's kind of starting to make a bit more sense. And Negan's just going crazy. He says no, he can't believe that Lucille is gone. Rest in peace, Lucille. And I know it's a bat, but it's a big deal for comic readers and obviously for Negan. And then a few whispers come and grab Beta, and so he's able to escape, which makes sense because I did predict that he wasn't going to die because Beta is the face of the Whispers and he can't really die right now. So obviously they take him and he survives, and they just take him back and retreat. Meanwhile, Negan and the others, Jesus, Dwight, Michonne, and the others fight off the walkers. And then there's one panel where they say, "Okay, we did it." And I love this panel. It reminds me a lot of the panel back in No Way Out when they basically destroyed all the walkers that were attacking them. And then Rick and the others was just standing and there were bodies everywhere. So it reminds me of that, and it was pretty cool. And then we see Negan. He's just beating one of the walkers / whispers and just beating him with half of Lucille, basically. And then Dwight says, "Pull yourself together, man. They're dead. Don't worry about it. That's enough." And then they look out and they see another dozen walkers / whispers just approaching. And it looks like there's going to be another set of attacks. Then there's a backsplash page with the walkers and the whispers, and I love this backsplash. You see how detailed the picture looks. It's one of those pictures that would look great as a poster. And then at the bottom we see individual faces of the survivors and they're just shocked. And then we see Negan and then he's like, "We're fucking fucked." It's cool. It's pretty cool to see how he brings the humor into the comics, even though there's an intense scene with walkers and the whispers coming, and it looks like they're outnumbered, and then Negan says something humorous. So I thought that was very funny. And then what we see after is we see 2 of the whispers talking, and they are saying something like, "Has anyone seen Beta's face?" And then they're like, "No," and they try to unmask him to see his face, and then Beta puts the knife through the guy's mouth and basically kills him. And he says, "Nobody sees my face." And it just shows how aware Beta is, even though he's obviously been beaten pretty badly. He was still aware and he didn't lose his leadership, and he wants to protect how others see him, and he doesn't want to ruin that fear they have for him. And then the next 3 pages, we see Dwight, and he's telling everybody what to do. He has a plan, and at the end we get to see what that plan is, and I think it's a pretty cool plan. But it's basically, he says, divide and conquer, and we gotta stop the herd from coming in, let the whisperers come, but break the walkers into different sections. And then Carl talking to Lydia, and Lydia tells him again that the whisperers are scary, they're unpredictable, they're ruthless, and you don't have a chance. And Carl basically says that that's not true. We can do anything. We are smarter, we have more strength, and Lydia just doesn't believe that. Through this conversation, Lydia breaks up with Carl and says, I don't love you the way you think I love you. And Carl is devastated. He doesn't believe her first, but then by the end, he's just devastated. And I'm interested to see what Carl does and what this does to him, and if it's going to push him over the edge or anything like that. And then we get to see Eugene make some more bullets, teach some others, and then a discussion Rick and then Andrea have, where they're basically talking about what they're going to do and how